Hello and welcome to the IT Expert View interview. My name is Stephen Pritchard. Microsoft operating systems and Microsoft software are pretty much ubiquitous among all small and mid-sized companies. Obviously, Microsoft was at the forefront of the development of the desktop PC and has continued to push that forward, with most recently the release of Windows 7, its latest version of the operating system. However, Microsoft is also developing cloud and hosted services, and these present something of a challenge as well as an opportunity to the reseller channel. Joining me now from Microsoft to discuss this is the Head of Business Development for small and mid-sized companies, Robert Epstein. Robert, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure, hello.
Obviously, Microsoft has been at the forefront of the IT industry as long as there's been an IT industry, but there's been a huge amount of development that's taken place since then in terms of the way that Microsoft has developed from DOS to Windows, various versions of Office, you've moved into servers, you're now moving into cloud computing. Could you just give us a quick update on the state of play with the Microsoft environment, the Microsoft ecosystem, as far as especially small and mid-sized companies are concerned? What are they using today and what are they looking to buy?
Sure. Well, we're kind of in the middle, really, of a large wave of refresh of most of the key applications, certainly as relevant to SMEs. Most of them are still using a huge variety of technology almost from the last 10 years. Where we stand today, I guess actually on the desktop, Windows XP is still the dominant operating system, and that's kind of changing rapidly. So obviously the wave of new products really kicked off towards the back end of last year with Windows 7, and there's been a huge array of excitement for that product. And actually what we are seeing is that SMEs are really now saying they're ready to move off of XP. They're looking for an operating system that's more stable, that's more secure, and hopefully easier to use as well. They'll find they're telling us easier to use. So Windows 7 is probably the biggest change that most users every day will see if they move across to that. Then again, we've released Windows Server 2008 Release 2 towards the back end of last year, which is an update to our hugely popular server operating system, and that's providing some great new capabilities, particularly when coupled with Windows 7, that I think will provide a lot of ease of use capabilities for small and medium businesses particularly.
And you've got some quite significant new developments coming out in terms of some of the collaboration tools as well. So you've got a new version of Exchange that's in the pipeline. You've also got a new version of Office 2010, which is in public beta at the moment, as I understand it. There's been significant numbers of people downloading that. What are the main features that smaller companies in particular are going to be looking to? Those two parts of their platform which are very, very important to them, obviously the Office desktop applications and also the collaboration environment from Exchange.
So Exchange 2010 is now out, and that really provides some significant updates in the amount of storage and the way that storage is managed, and also on ensuring that the platform is available in an easier way. So we've done away with things like the need to cluster as much, because you can run multiple copies of the database with Exchange. You can also use much lower cost storage, so it's very easy to start offering users much bigger mailbox sizes, which is becoming important as people are moving to a lot more multimedia content and attachment sizes are increasing with people's data. The other key thing with Exchange obviously is integration of unified messaging and unified communications. We certainly see there's a great opportunity for people to start changing their old PBXs and voicemail systems and moving them into an Exchange platform. So you have a single inbox coupling all your voicemail. Now actually when you couple that with Exchange 2010, you can really go all the way, with Office 2010, and you can even integrate texting now. So if you connect your phone and so forth, and it allows you to really pick up your email from anywhere, whether it be on the desktop, in the cloud, via an internet browser, or on your mobile phone as well.
So why would a company move towards that, especially a smaller company? For very large organizations, clearly you can make significant cash savings from, for example, unified communications, reducing the number of channels that people have open to them, they have to monitor. Even simple things like reducing the amount of cabling they have in the building by moving everything to voice over IP. But for smaller businesses and mid-sized businesses, it's not as clear cut.
Well, I think there's a lot of other opportunities for savings. Certainly if you start integrating more of the technology and unified communications, the ability to work from anywhere and increase mobility, and that can have significant benefits from a cost perspective. Certainly both in travel and travel reduction, as one takes on more mobile and collaborative solutions. And actually we've even seen people require less office space because they're able to start having more workers working more flexible from anywhere. And that can obviously offer huge savings as you don't have to expand your offices. I think if you start looking at something like Office 2010, which as you say is in public beta right now and will be out by the middle of 2010, and earlier for business customers buying volume licensing, then that really provides the opportunity to connect to those cloud-based or those back-end services. So it's the integration really of Office 2010 as really the client front end to things like Exchange and SharePoint and Office Communication Server. And that's really where people will start to see the benefit. And I think that's very interesting for small and medium businesses particularly, who historically maybe don't have those back-end services, such as SharePoint, because of the cost of acquiring the hardware and the software and integration of all of that. And what we probably start to see is more and more businesses, those smaller businesses, acquire those back-end services through cloud service offerings, and then taking benefit of the new client technology.
Well, this has been one of the drawbacks of these types of systems for companies that are often involved in supplying larger companies. So, if you're small and mid-sized and you're supplying an enterprise, you may have to have multiple forms of IM if you want to communicate with the various enterprises being on different platforms. Also, the corporate IM type services that you've been providing as Microsoft and some of your competitors have been providing tend to be closed systems. They don't federate well. How are you able to change that? Because clearly if you're an SME supplying a large firm, whether you're a white-collar knowledge-based consultancy or a small manufacturer or a small distribution or delivery company, if you can't access that federated data, then you can't draw the benefits.
Sure. Certainly, we've seen almost the consumerization of IT there, where actually many people wanted to start using IM, use the public and commercial services like Windows Live Messenger in the early days. And as companies have wanted to adopt that technology, they've realized they've needed to do it in a secure way from a compliance perspective where they can track the information, they can save the conversations. So they've introduced things like Office Communication Server in order to start doing that. But Office Communication Server does allow for easy federation, either between OCS servers or actually out with the public networks as well. So I only use Windows Communicator, for example, Office Communicator as my client front end, but I'm able to communicate both within the organization and connect out to public services like Live Messenger or AOL and so forth. So it's quite simple to federate.
How do social networking services fit into these type of things? Because we're seeing increasingly businesses turning to services such as Twitter for sort of near instant communications rather than using conventional IM, and partly because it's simple and partly because you can manage which is your public and which is your private lists quite easily.
So I think social integration is kind of coming. Clearly more people are adopting it, although I think they're still cautious of how, where you can use it. Even with things like Facebook and so forth, is that something that you would use professionally and you would only have your business contacts on, or do you extend it to members of your family, and then what communication goes where? So I think a lot of that's still learning. Actually a great example of how we're starting to integrate social networking in a more collaborative, communicative world within some of our key applications is in the new Outlook 2010 as part of the new Office 2010 suite. So there's actually going to be social connectors within Outlook, so that as you go to, say, an email, if I received an email from you, I could pop up a box at the bottom of that email that shows me all the communication that I've had with you. So it shows me any meetings that we've had diarised. If I subscribe to any RSS feeds, and maybe you've done some podcasts, for example, it would show me all the links to all of those RSS feeds that I subscribe to, as well as any attachments you've sent. So it makes it very easy for me to not just have that one email conversation going on, but actually to see the entire communication and conversation that we have as individuals. And then we are opening up that API to allow third parties to write connectors to the social media as well. So we've already gone public announcing a collaboration with LinkedIn, so you would be able to bring information, for example, status updates from people's LinkedIn profiles directly into Outlook. Now those are open and public, so we expect that there'll be more coming as we get nearer launch, and therefore you can foresee people's, for example, if somebody were to write a Twitter feed coming directly into Outlook. So as you're about to maybe pick up the phone or use your Office Communicator to talk to somebody, you can see the most recent status updates. So we're really starting to connect to that world outside, but bring it into those applications that people are using every day.